Good morning, Star Wars CCG fans. This is James Martin, also known as Solid Snack, and I've got for you today a um, lovely match between Mike Kessling and Drew Lichtenstein. They are in the top 16 of the OCS. They did it by blood, sweat, and tears. And let me just post actually a couple spots here where people can catch the stream here so that I can get some more viewers. One second. Alrighty here. All right, so Mike B. Drew coming up shortly on the Twitch channel here. The players are just getting their deck list submitted, and while we take a look at this, why don't we take a um, take stock of where they've kind of been here. I'm going to pull up the OCS cumulative standings here. You can see very similar records there. Mike and Drew are good buddies. You can see they're within a game of each other, actually. CoffeePass had a little bit of hard luck going 12 and 0, the only 12 and 0 that did not qualify in the history of the OCS. He lost out in strength of schedule in February, but was not discouraged and um, qualify with an 11 and 1 in May. Mike Kessling had a pretty even keel throughout the entire run of the OCS, and essentially what wound up happening with him at the end of the day was that he was able to finally get an at-large bid for the second half. You can see just a couple games better, was able to secure a second half bid there. Really had to kind of slug it out throughout the whole of the OCS here to get the to uh, get to the OCS playoffs here. Hey, good morning, Dan. Dan at the Fun Hall Theater last night at 9 p.m. Eastern. Does it every Wednesday, and looks like the players here are just tapping to see if they're ready to roll for this first game here. While we got a couple more minutes, I want to take a look at this here. Avert your eyes if you don't want to see the results, but loaded schedule today here. Kessling versus Drew, so that's the game here, 8 o'clock. Paul Myers, Greg Shaw at 11 a.m. They might play a second game right after. Shaw is notorious. Paul Myers is notoriously slow, so that's part of what might be happening here to see exactly how long that'll take. Joe Olson, Steve Baroni at 3 p.m. Matthew Harrison Trainer, Taco Build Game 2 at 7. And then these guys will get back at it 12 hours later tonight. 12 hours later tonight for their Game 2. So we'll be able to see. Uh, we'll be able to see. We'll see who advances from this bracket here. And just to show bracket, I think I've got that loaded up here while they're still waiting. They are down here. CoffeePass is Drew. Mike Kessling is Troop 1023. They will play Bastion, who's already moved on to the second round at this point here. Drew and Drew and Mike are very good friends. I think they kind of picked each other, hoping that they would kind of play kind of a casual game. Um, but I think they've kind of been jacking back and forth with exactly how competitive that they'll wind up being for this. I know they kind of joked about decks, and I think Mike talked about how he'd beat him in 30 minutes because they accidentally posted times incorrectly. Um, And then CoffeePass, Drew saw Mike in some private games, and maybe Drew, I think, was thinking that maybe he's taking this more seriously than I thought originally. But anyway, so lots of fun stuff going on. I'm sure we'll get a good game between two good players. You saw in the OCS playoffs there, or the OCS regular season, they were in one game. It's very difficult to split them. Drew had a great success at the NPC earlier this year. He took home his first major, and has obviously been playing all right. Other than that, Mike Kessling's been a big story of almost. I think he's got three top eights. He went to Euros and got a top eight. He went, I think, Nationals, and I think the indoor Grand Prix as well. He came out in the top eight of each of those majors. Didn't wind up winning the PC20 event. He got to the finals and he uh, lost to Tom Struthers, and then I think he also and then he also went to the top two of the GEM I remember that one because I picked against him in both the MPC, GEM and the PC20 event. I just happened to be in the Hall of Theater the week before and had to place my bets and so forth. So might be on his bad side for being a little bit of bad luck charm for him. But anyway, we'll see how he fares in this game here. So I see Mike just put the game up. He's playing Dark first. And looks like Mr. D Tag 1 is correcting me that it was not top 8 Endor, but still, all good stuff. So you got Watch Your Step and Shadow Collective here. So Watch Your Step, probably a cheeky choice here. I don't think there's a lot of people um, that would have gone into an OCS top 16 with Watch Your Step. And I think Jared Napolitano says, yeah, hope they play weird stuff. And there we go. We've got Watch Your Step here as the weird stuff that he was hoping for. While they're kind of setting stuff up, let me give you some cool things that we're dealing with. One thing is going on with the PC here. Got all this cool stuff, right? The PC player survey. Fill it out, and it'll get you an Anakin Skywalker Padawan learner updated image foil V-slip. We want people's input. If you could fill it out by November 7th. Lots of cool stuff there. So pretty standard builds here for our players. Probably the one flex start you could see here for Mike Kessling here is that he's gonna go hard with the Maul's lightsaber there and have Maul be one of his big battlers. Depending on whether Drew is playing Luke Skywalker Last Jedi or something like that, that could make it more difficult for Drew to hold ground if Kessling's got some cool dueling tricks and so forth that tends to come with that sort of package here. But for Watcher Step, you can see we've got the general build there. That'll be something that'll be nice. Looks like for Kessling here that he's got an extra grabber early for any of the shenanigans that will occur with Watcher Steps. So it looks like he's got his general shield grabber. He's got something special planned for them, and we'll see as well. We better play the shield. If he doesn't do that, that'll be a colossal misstep, I would think, for the Watcher Step shield that will allow them to grab items that are placed out of play. So the extra grabbers always seem to come in handy because Watcher Step tends to play stuff knowing that the grabbers will be stressed out. Nice shout out to our design and development here. It's the kind of the Reflections 2 promo card finally made its image into the I must be allowed to speak Smuggler's Blues here. All right, pretty standard stuff first turn here for Shadow Collective. Maul comes down, he's going to get his lightsaber and likely is going to teleport over somewhere to have some fun. He can teleport to the Dryden study. Crimson Dawn later may move between here and a site, and we might see him park somewhere else, say like at the cantina or something like that. That would be a very juicy drain. And we'll see what Drew's got to kind of handle that sort of stuff. I mean, not uncommon. They'll have it's a hit, could be worse. Uh, Lots of cool stuff in there for damage mitigation. Of course, he could just go crazy amount of retrieval. There's a lot of things that you can kind of put in a watch or step as far as interrupts and effects to kind of help you out. But your character package and your starter package tends to run the exact same from deck to deck here. So we'll see. First turn here of the OCS playoffs, and top 16, Mike Kessling versus Drew Lichtenstein. Um, Mike's been kind of a person that's been all around the Star Wars universe. I'm going to plug his podcast, The Kessling Run, really quick. A lot of nice content. I think it's been a little while since he had a little bit of communication. I think our last one was Jared Napolitano, but I guarantee you'll have something for Worlds and probably OCS playoffs upcoming here. So post the link here for the Kessling Run podcast. And if you haven't checked it out, they talk about anything, um, anything and everything Star Wars CCG related. They talk about people going to their whole Star Wars CCG experience here, going to tournaments when they were younger. They interviewed Jared Napolitano recently, and he's got kind of the monkier now. Endgame or local tournament endgame boss. So a lot of good conversations there about history of the game and that sort of deal. So you can see the new the Solo Han. Hope everybody liked that movies. Came down with the Falcon, and he's starting to draw for the new Kessel run here. Kind of annoying that Corellia was one of the first ones that popped up here. But looks like Talon Card just came down, and he's going to take that in the hand with Jedi Lev to get a important player in the that's a cheeky card. Important player in the Watcher Step build. Talon Card will give additional defense value to his smugglers and additional forfeit, which would be super important on the ground against all these blasters here. Again, some good look after the Corellia draw, which is nice. I think one more card here should do it. And there we go. I mean, I think here Shadow Collective would be hard pressed to handle anything in the space theater here unless Kessling's done some interesting stuff with space weapons. I think Zuckuss' Mist Hunter can hold the concussion missiles, for example, but it would be very difficult for um, uh, very difficult for Shadow Collective to mount any sort of attack on space here. So what like Kessling can do to kind of really keep Drew off of ground here or punish any play to ground here was going to dictate how this game's going to roll. I like that choke, by the way. That's a cool card. I feel like doesn't get as much play. Our Decipher era players will be able to remember this one. You can forfeit an alien on your side to cancel remaining attrition against you, and you can cancel the game text of one unique alien. So um, somebody like Zam Wessel, for example, that draws Battle Destiny on her own, all of a sudden, bam, she can't do that. So that'll be a fun card to see if that gets played in this matchup here. And I'm sure we've all seen it over the course of time when we get like millions of Battle Destiny against us, and you have to forfeit, 15 or something like that. It's nice to be able to peel one alien, and unfortunately sacrifice it. It doesn't forfeit, but that would be something there that they could do to kind of mitigate that damage. Dan Tartaglione is going to talk about, is mentioning Kira is going to be a target. She'll be interesting. You might see her on both sides of the table simultaneously here. She's going to be uh, really interesting for to see how that plays out because her dark side text will kind of as long as Lightside doesn't control a battleground or occupy a battleground site, then Secret Plans is doubled and its worst is canceled. And on the light side end, as long as the Kessel run's completed, she can ping damage, and she may be also be able to forfeit for all battle damage and attrition if she's at the same site as boss or Han. So we'll see a bunch of stuff there. So Mike uses the double-bladed lightsaber to drain at the non-battleground. It's something that Lightside could have avoided if they wanted to play simple tricks or potentially a battle order. I'm imagining here that it's in Drew's best interest to try to get Mike to shield bust as much as possible. So that's probably why you didn't see the battle plan shield on the light side's end. Hondo Naka, one of my favorite cards, gets a lot of stuff. Or seeing Slave One or Kowakian, which is the Salacrius Crumb, right? Not that anybody plays her or that guy, but just in case you wanted to, Hondo can pull it. You know, Orsing with Blaster Rifle, pretty compact card there. Uh, has its own permanent weapon that's awesome against targeting Jedi. Draws on her own. I think just about every deck likes playing her, a copy of her. Plus, it's the great AI image of Orsing, you know. Dan's mentioning Corellia Regionals, I think, which is November 6th in the chat. So just in case you're in the Columbus, Ohio region or willing to travel, let me get you that info so that you can take a look at it. I think Dan will be there, you know. I'm sure if you were there, say hello to our stream team lead, Kendall Corin Hallman. A lot of good people there in the Corellia region. A couple of our big streaming personalities too, which is kind of nice. Had a quick revert here while we were talking about Corellia Regionals and the Fan Menace, which may or may not do a lot of stuff. We'll see here. All right, while we have a break in the action here, why don't I give out one of the sticker tokens? Let me give you the information for the sticker book program. It's really awesome. I name a token, which is any one of these cards, and my token here is going to be Hondo Anaka, because I like him. He's an AI for I think it was August this year. OCS is one of the OCS AIs, but he's a really compact card that allows you to get some space or sing with blaster rifle, draws on his own. Really good stuff. But Hondo Naka is going to be the sticker book token for this stream here. All right, so now we've got a little bit of a fearsome package here on the ground here for Mike Kessling here. Drew could easily not care about it for a little bit, just to because he is going to get some cards back via retrieval here. You can see that Coward in particular didn't come out for Mike. So it's something here that looks like, unless Mike's got some shield puller, that he'll be able to retrieve even if he doesn't spread any further here. Now it's going to come Corellia here, which he knows in the reserve deck because that came off of Kessel in the Kessel run. For those unfamiliar, basically what's going to happen is every move phase, there's going to be an ability for Drew to take one of these cards stacked off Kessling run, sorry, and put in his use pile. Heinz able to take the last one in the hand, and essentially once there's no more stacked cards, then he gets to retrieve 4 force from that. So, um, yeah, it's not terribly urgent, I guess, right now that Drew um, deals with the people here, but he's still staring down a lot of damage in some sense. So what, 2 force strain, 4, um, 5, maybe 6, 7, 8 here, um, with a blaster ping too. So I mean, you can get some of it back, but you don't want to kind of start. I'm sure I'll want to find some of his damage mitigation if nothing else here. He's got like an it's a hit or something like that. That'll buy him some more time to package together a competent space fleet. Projection of a Skywalker is also helpful. There we go. It's like I know what I'm talking about, you know? Talking about the damage prevention here. And I think the watch your step game plan would be a couple of battlegrounds in space, including Tatooine, and then try to stack a site hard to try its best to hold it. I think there's going to be a lot of trouble with all the blasters uh, to handle what Shadow Collective can pull against your ground package. I love this image, by the way. He's the best smuggler around. Cool stuff. Kessel Run, Leet, Lando, um, randomly retrieve a force, which is what he did here. You don't see that much, but that's a nice opportunity for him to do that. You can see there's no code clearance shield. Um, this is why Drew is trying its best to bust the shields here for Mike. Alrighty, so once again, just to remind you a little bit of our coverage here for today. 8 a.m., 11 a.m., 3 p.m., 7 p.m., 8:30 p.m. for streams all today, so you can kind of watch all day if you want to, you know? I'll definitely be back for some of the other ones. Of course, some of that stuff is subject to change and whatnot. We had a couple of things change on us the past couple of days, including this game was moved up 12 hours, so. So Mike is paying a bunch to drain. Looks like he's putting as much force loss as he can into all of this. It's a little annoying that Merrick's went off the top there for Drew. She's usually, especially against Shadow Collective that doesn't have a ton of space, it's kind of nice to be able to park her in space with somebody and just get that 3PO effect of being able to drop and draw cards. There we go. Pretty tough round there, and he's going to do another ping damage. And I think about it with a Shadow Collective flip. So it's a lot, but for a deck that can retrieve a bunch of cards, it's something that Drew hopefully can handle a little bit here. And so Ball's dual wielding now with his dual lightsaber as well as a random blaster, which you see often mostly to get additional pings from the You'll Be Dead here. And moving kind of fast, which is kind of nice. I figured these players might play a little fast and loose here, um, given the how each other given they know each other very well. So one more thing I want to talk about. Some people had talked about the newsletter actually. So if you want to get some Star Wars CCG news delivered right to your email, got a link there for people to subscribe to the SWCCG newsletter. There's going to be one upcoming the next week or so that'll have a lot of good information. There's a lot to announce actually. I'll have a pretty busy day on Twitter, all things considered. But that'll also get it right to your email, just in case you miss something. I know people are busy with all this sort of stuff. So um, the newsletter will give you some nice, concise information. Let me see if I can't move that picture here so that you can see resistance. There we go. If anything else pops up, I'll move it down somewhere else. So again, top 16 action of the 2022 OCS playoffs. I was nowhere near contention here. I don't think I had anything above a 500 record for all of OCS. So it's impressive that these guys are able to consistently put out the good records that they can. And again, their OCS playoff record was within one game of each other. So, and Mike Kessling had to do a lot more sweating than Drew did, as Drew was able to kind of uh, qualify 3 months in as one of the monthly winners. Although I'm sure he was unhappy that his 12 and 0 in February was uh, not able to qualify him outright at that point. But hey, you got to persevere, you know. He says things come easy in this game. Definitely don't. Got to do a lot of mechanics and tracking and remembering of cards. It's definitely complicated. So this will be an interesting turn here for Mr. Drew. He retrieved a bunch of cards last turn with his Kessel run. I'm gonna say Kessling run all day. I'm sorry, but hey, go check out my Kessling's podcast. So um, uh, with the Kessler run being completed, that's going to get him some cards back. He's going to be able to flip for the first time here. So he's got stuff like I know he's got it's a hit lying around here that he can use. And he's going to start getting his used pile pulls from his big key players going down to Tatooine. So I'm thinking he will be able to kind of arm himself for at least one more turn of damage mitigation before I think he would have to commit the ground at some point, especially, Mike doesn't have terribly fearsome players showing here, but of course, anything that he goes down with, is going to be subject to the counter beat, as so they say in this game. So that's something that they're going to want to deal with. Levo is going to be great for some direct damage if your Kessel run's finished. Um, I'm not sure if anybody's ever got the Rykar's run completion ping to work, but good on you if that was something you're able to do. There you go, double projection because you can. So drains for 1, 1. This will be 3 if Mike decides to pay for it, and then pings of 2, and then a flip for another ping here. So the nice part about Shadow Collective and all that they do, they don't have to pay for their damage, similar to how walkers operate and stuff like that. So that's one of the reasons you see decks not showing any space here. So it'll be important. And tell me if you've that's like future chat. Yeah, David Woods can do it. I have seen a competitive list or two of asteroids running around. Hayes Hunter, I think, brought one to Georgia State's. I think it was even. So yeah, might happen. So at any rate, lots of cool stuff going on in this game. Um, and we'll see how. Hey, look, he's running 2 Talon cards. That's interesting. Maybe he's just a Michael Stackpole fan. Captain Lando Calrissian would have been a good one to kind of have because he's the dude that you can plug in front of somebody and kind of pull him up during the deploy phase to cancel a drain or something like that. You're not as worried about his text being blanked in this game as you would with, say, Vader Emperor's Enforcer, although you get an action usually after the deploy phase. So I think he would be somebody that they could have used to plug a drain and maybe satisfy resistance or something for like a turn before to buy you more time. Drew's peeling everything. Interesting. Interesting to see him do that. I would think he's got at his disposal, it's a hit and those sorts of things. Hopefully he's got a copy or two of the We're Doomed combo. Maybe he's got a could be worse or something like that. We might get a pretty non-interactive game for a little while here. I mean, it's just kind of how both decks would operate. So nothing concerning here. Nothing to see. So we'll see what Drew's going to do here as a result. One of the things that he would want would be Kira to get some additional damage. Should be able to do a ping damage whenever she force drains and whenever battles are initiated. So what could Drew do to win this? A second Kessel run would be helpful that he could complete in short order to get more cards back. Get Kira, and then if he could somehow survive on ground for like a short amount of time, that would be pretty good too. It's possible if Drew gets everything that he never needs to deploy to ground, but I would think that's unlikely, seeing that Mike's been able to consistently get some damage through here. But we'll see. Now he's doing 3 with the You'll Be Dead pings, so it's important for Drew to find something to deal with that. I'd be shocked if he didn't have anything to deal with it. I mean, it's a pretty this and walkers have been around meta, and you generally want to play your Gick anyway. So I mean, it's not uncommon that like the old Watch Your Steps play the Gick combo card, but I don't know. I would think given the amount of Shadow Collective at Worlds and stuff like that, I want to say Mike was playing Shadow Collective at Worlds. I want to say, given all that, um, that's something that Drew should have been expecting. I love Dash Rendar. I'm not sure if anybody's played the old N64 games and stuff like that, where he just mashed his blaster over and over. V card would be the better one to put on the ground. He kind of does nothing. He's definitely he's definitely arguably the best pilot in the game. The original Reflections 2 version there, but oh good. Dan tells me that he lost to Mike's Shadow Collective here. Yeah, I want to say Mike always works really hard for his teammates there. I want to say for the last couple major events I've gotten, I do a lot of the deck list submissions, and I get like 5 emails from Mike. So Hey, there's a card that I've been seeing a little bit more of. What chance do we have here? Whenever you lose force, except from a force drain or your card, during opponent's control phase, unless the opponent occupies more battlegrounds than you, may reduce force to a minimum of 1 by the number of battlegrounds you occupy. All right, so that's a good card. That's going to reduce the damage here down to 1 for You'll Be Dead. Let's see how aggressive Mr. CoffeePass is. Yeah, look at that. That is aggression. That is dropping everybody he's got down. This is what I talked about, like what I think he'll have to do if he wants to try to um, hold a site is just kind of like commit everybody he's got here. Now, what's nice is this dude here at same location, your smugglers reach forfeit +2 and defense value +2. By the way, this old thing here on the back that they put in the Decipher Ages, we finally got the V card for that, which is really nice in the wild card here, which is a really good ship actually. All right, so Mara Jade is a tank, 7 defense value and forfeit 11. How about that? So unlikely he's going to get overflowed, unless, well, that's also possible that Mr. Mike Kessling's got a bunch of like Dark Strikes and Dr. E, somebody that'll come down here. So we'll see what's going on. So here we go, the almost the mirror to Imperial Decree. It's actually funny how that one line of text there, it's unless your opponent occupies more battlegrounds than you, that thing really reduces its functionality. Although the Decree also gives you the battle listening if unable to otherwise, which is kind of neat. All right, people, we don't need to have a recount of everybody that's beat Mike and so forth in various tournaments. No, he's man, Mike's been a good player for a long time. I think I randomly beat him with my map trooper or blasters and so forth, which was kind of fun. So this is what I was talking about earlier with potentially like the Phantom Menace being a dead card. Luke Skywalker V's looks like what they've got there in the package for Watcher Step, and that probably is the better play against Shadow Collective, only because I think Maul would just be able to eat him up, especially if he has dueling tech or something like that, if he was expecting Yoda communing. And probably what he would need at the end of the day for all this is just a crazy amount of uh, retrieval to kind of help out here. Dengar with Blaster Carbine, who would add a Battle Destiny. This guy is nasty against this deck, Watcher Step here, because a lot of low defense value fellas. You can see here where if he hits both of them with Dr. E around, then all of a sudden, he's down 2 characters in the battle and stuff. But again, these guys are a little bit harder to hit. But most Shadow Collectives these days solve the problem of high destiny, high defense value characters and low destiny with just packing in crazy high destiny, and so they hit everybody these days. So we'll see what Mike's deck is like at this point. But well, maybe not. Maybe we won't see anything because Dengar got barriered here. So we'll see what's going on here. Yeah, agreed. Both these guys are top-notch players. Um, I think I've probably got like 1 win against them combined and probably like 10 tries. So, but I am by no means an amazing player. For those of you who missed it, Hondo Anaka is going to be the token for today's game, by the way. So, quick revert. They're not saying anything in chat. It's very possible that they are talking to each other over phone or something like that with their smack talk and so forth, which is kind of interesting. So they're good friends, so I think they have each other on speed dial. Prince Shizor, which I think is the proper pronunciation. I'm sure Kendall can, who's I think the will correct me if anything is wrong with my cannon comes down. He's a pretty fearsome dude here. I don't think there's an ability for him unless something crazy happens to have his text kick in because I think Talon Card and Dash Rendar add up to 6 ability here. But still, he's somebody to worry about if there's like some Dark Strikes and that sort of stuff. Oh, Dan says they're both playing right now from Mike's TV room, which I can only imagine is just decked out with cool SWCCG swag, and it's got like a 70-foot screen, you know? Quite a mercenary. Good card. Just kind of funny. My older brother proposed like a lot of texts for that card there, and I think it got made with a lot of his input, and I think D&D took a lot of it to heart, which is kind of interesting. So, but I got the post from quite a few years ago. He's been out of the he's been in and out of the SWCCG community for a little bit of time, but maybe we can get him to come to Worlds with me. Upcoming, they just announced Worlds that's going to be in the summer time frame in New Jersey and New York region. So that's pretty close to where I live, which is nice. So hoping I can make that one. So here's the battle anyway. Text canceled for Dr. E and Ponda B. Getting 2 Destiny for the smugglers here. If this was the V dash run, it would be nasty, you know? Trying to remove Lebo here. That should do it without any modifiers. Oh, actually, no, it should not because of Talon. I forgot about him. So he's a 6, so he wouldn't be able to do anything there, which is kind of cool. And he doesn't get the Destiny to power, so that's a little bit of a annoying miss for Mr. Mike Kessling here. Still gets the Destiny to power though, because he flipped during the battle phase here because of the gangsters that control 2 sites. So there's the 7 that he might have been hoping for a little bit earlier. Given the crazy forfeit of smugglers here, oh, double 7s, look at that. That's great there, you know? That's up to an 8. But given the crazy forfeit of the smugglers, it's not going to look as bad as you might expect here. And so we'll see, assuming these battle destinies are halfway decent, there's a good start. This might be a little bit of a pain even for Mike, because he might have to forfeit more than there's Malos V there. He might have to forfeit more than Drew does here. So it's an 8. I think like anyone should cover here for Mr. Drew. So I would think Dash would go here. And there we go. Probably just double checking that the forfeit modifiers are correct here. So yeah, Dr. E and Dengar are still annoying. I'm not sure where you would want to move, but I would think you'd probably want to just get away in general from those folks. Nice thing here is Drew's got more options because he's not paying to drain at this point. Yeah, if I were Drew, if he's got any smugglers, I'd probably drop him in front of Aura here, move everybody over, and then like drop a lone starship over here, and just say go. Interesting, he walklings for Dash Rendar. Maybe interesting if he's got this ship. puts Luke on top here, if that's somebody that he's able to get down to. But of course, he's got the ping from the shadows flipping. So this game is starting to get to the interesting phase here, as Drew knows that he needs to now interact to kind of win this game here. More damage you can pump through too, the better. I think that's like the third disarm that Mike looks like he's playing, if my memory's correct here. He got one back somehow. I don't think he's had any sort of retrieval. The nice thing about Drew is at this point the optics look like he's gonna be able to get it down to like a much more manageable number for his dark side for game 2 tonight here. Aha! Didn't I say that that choke would come around, huh? Man, that gets grabbed. That's an interesting grab. Especially if Drew has got stuff to loop. Especially if Drew's got stuff to loop other damage mitigation interrupts. It'll be good here would be like a Val would be really good, you know, to go down, initiate battle. There we go. And probably can hit Dr. E combo. And that'll look like a decent battle and might be able to pump through some overflow. Outrider with its wonderful pilot of Kira. As I said that she might make an appearance here on either side of the table. Ooh, and Chewie. All right, now this looks like a beatdown squad if for watch your step here, which is really nice. So now Mike actually be in a little bit of trouble here. Won't get a Destiny to power. I would think that Dr. E would have been a better one to shoot there, just because he's 4'6" as opposed to 4'4". But maybe he's not taking any chances, and I guess it doesn't matter because he's got the Atlanta Dope combo. But maybe he's not taking any chances and just wants to get that guy off the table because you definitely want to get him off the table. But I would think here that Mike's forfeiting both of these guys. Let's see if Mike's got a 7 top loaded here, but the forfeit that Drew has here will really not make anything really that difficult. I think he'd probably just get one character off even if he gets a 7. I'm not so sure that those Destinies are good enough for battle damage. Let's see how it works out. Definitely not good enough for battle damage. Still, that's one character. I guess Val. Maybe. He tempted to forfeit Chewie. Yeah, and even though Dengar is forfeit. So Dengar was the better one to shoot. There we go. That's why I'm not playing this stuff, you know? If he hit Dr. E, all he was due was a 6 for attrition. And would have also covered battle damage, and Dengar would have stuck around. So it's probably a good play on Drew's end to make sure that he removed the important threat and also potentially even telegraph the Lana Dobry combo here. So Drew's looking pretty good here so far. Mike's generation is limited here to 10, which is just a total pain. Watch your step if you remember. Limits generation at non-battleground locations. So he's cutting off 1, 2, 3. And remember, they don't generate force from the cantina here either. So um, even though there's a lot of dark side icons on the table, I haven't seen any ships in the deck at all so far, Justin. I mean, it might be holding on to one, but yeah, I haven't seen anything. So that's no escape that came down. Now I've got the here. How about I move the stream guy right over here? That means that he doesn't have any ships, right? I don't know if he has ships or not, but I'll just move it there because I haven't seen anything pop up. So not that much damage gets pushed through, which is important on the Drew side, um, partially because Mike's got to pay for everything. His You'll Be Dead ping got reduced to 1 with what chance do we have? Still would be unless Mike can clear here. Um, and yeah, not looking good that he's got to pay for a lot of stuff. He's really behind in generation now that Watcher Step is limiting the generation at all the non-battleground sites, and uh, clearly here Drew is saying that like you've got nothing in space here, or he's got a barrier that can therefore punish any space play. I mean, like Wildcard doesn't even draw on his own. Outrider's not even that early. Fearsome with just Kira piloting doesn't even add anything to power. So he's literally dropped everybody, all of his available smugglers to the ground here to kind of try its best to um, try his best to hold down that site. So the best smuggler around pulled a card off of the useless gesture grabber, which gives Drew the ability to play an interrupt from last pile because it would only take 1 to play and grab and stack. And that's what he winds up doing now. Draws 2 cards. Gets out the first light bar. The smugglers are there for strains +1. That's something that Watcher Step could potentially use, since seeing that every character is basically a smuggler except for Luke. Yeah, I mean, basically, if he's got any ship here, it would have been nice to kick something off of, especially Tatooine is probably a good one because of potentially cycling It's a Hit and so forth. Even like pumping Kara or I mean any of those locations is if he can get the presence off would be really nice. But it's clear here at this point that he doesn't have anything. So Talon card, Drew's running 2 of. And he's the guy that's really been preventing his smugglers from getting hit. Not to mention the forfeit is nasty on all of them. So let's see if Drew can withstand this. Hopefully he's got like Mara Jade still left at the end of this. Two for two. Lebo's a good hit because he's doing ping damage. He's still got a 4 for the 6 though, so far good draws. Let's see who gets another one. Bound to get a bad one with Shadow Collective, right? Yeah, Charlie, no respect to Dark Side Space, but I know I think that's how he had to play it in some sense, especially if he had a barrier in hand. But I think he needs all hands on deck for everything on ground here. He put even um, just regular dash render on the ground, who does nothing but provide forfeit value and power. So I think he's put everybody that he could on the ground here, which has been the correct play. So we'll see. He's got nasty forfeit still, so shouldn't be an issue for him to hold one person if he wants to. Probably Chewy, everybody but Mara. And then if he doesn't feel comfortable on the ground here, then you can shuttle Mara up if you want to. Lebo does the ping damage, but yeah, as far as I'm not sure if he's the top guy you want to swing a lightsaber at when you get two draws. In hindsight, what those two draws there, let me see if I can get back to them for you. In hindsight, those two draws were a 9 total. So I think he would have hit everybody because Mara J would have been a 7. Um, so he could have had his pick there of who we wanted to take off a table as the mandatory forfeit. I mean, Mara J would still been like forfeit 9, so a large amount of forfeit. Shooting Lebo probably is good to get him off the table and maybe get a second character off, but um, yeah, certainly an interesting choice. And of all the characters that he's got, you probably want Mara to be the one left if you only have one to pick for light side. Another round of drains here, definitely getting that differential down at least, which is nice for Drew here. It'll make quite a game 2. In our chat, Mike Kessling said that he would beat Drew in 30 minutes, and I think he's a little over his time frame here. Well, I've got a captive audience. Just a reminder here: games today, 11 o'clock, Myers and Shaw, 3 p.m. Joe and Steve, MHT and Taco Bell, 7 p.m. And then Kessling and Drew will play again at 8:30 for game 2. Lots of stuff going on. Being held hostage, I know. Your least favorite streamer is me, but anyway. The Ant-Man, one of JNAP's favorite cards. Made a whole deck out of Antilles Maneuver and Luke Skywalker Rebel Scout, making people pay 2 to fire weapons. So it's really good against Shadow Collective in the OCS this year. Yeah, it'd be great if he could recirculate, but yeah, I think he's just trying his best to uh, limit as much damage as possible, and if he can keep any sort of presence on the ground, that's like a win for him. I mean, one of the awesome things about Shadow Collective is you can use all your force almost every turn because you can recirculate with the flip, which is nice. So, but given that he's got to pay for drains and stuff like that, it's really kind of reduced his damage output. Gonna plug again. good time here, I think, as well. Go ahead and take the PC player survey that I've linked in the chat here. Um, a lot of good feedback that we want from our community and its players. Even if you're not a player, we want you to take it to improve the state of the game. For your efforts, we'll get you a Anakin Skywalker Padawan Learner foil slip. And for those of you that didn't catch Theater last night, they spoiled one of the new deck boxes that are coming out, and I think they'll be offered as part of um, the upcoming 2023 donations program. I haven't seen that one, but last year's were pretty cool. I think Twitter even spoiled a new image of one of the deck boxes last night too. That one is awesome with with Sidious on the front there. But take a quick look; they'll be awesome, and you'll be able to find out info on how to get them shortly. Jared's kind of wrapping up some of the stuff about the 2023 donations program. I think he's getting the first run of his of all the boxes somewhat soon. So hopefully we'll have those for you over the next coming days and be able to give you details on that. All right, so one of the good guys for Shadow Collective here is IG88 with Riot Gun. He should be able to snag somebody. Talon card isn't around any longer, so this should be pretty easy to capture with IG88 with Riot Gun. Probably hold him hostage. And then what he would be looking to do, Mr. Mike Kessling, would be to try to clear the cantina here with his draws and weapons fire. I don't think he can back up too much more here, given the fact that Antilles maneuver was just played, so now he's got to pay for one force for weapons fires. Getting into the business end of the game here. See, we've only got 8 down and 3 in hand for Drew, and we've got 12 down and 1 in hand for Mike. IG was a pretty fortuitous thing to have in hand, but of course there's a good chance he might have been holding all game. And Mike's going into the tank, so they say, to see what he wants to do here. Neither player is pressed for time here. Each have about 20 minutes on their clock here. So we should see the end of the game here, barring a lot of really crazy into the tank moments. But I think we should see this game end well before anybody gets down to stressful time limits. Again, this is game 1. They're going to play game 2 at 8:30 p.m. tonight. Follow our Twitter at SWCCG for updates on where to watch all that stuff. Unsurprisingly, there's a hit here. You won't see overflow. This may come down to whether Mike can clear or not in this battle here. I would think he's got a good chance. I think it's kind of expected to do so. Let's see who he fires at. Yeah, he's going to fire at Ellers. 4. I would think this means he knows what his last card is here. I wasn't tracking closely enough. Because he hasn't, I think he had the opportunity to reshuffle here, and he didn't. He would need to draw a 3 here at minimum, and there's a 7. So no overflow, but that's a clear, and that would make Drew pay for all of his shenanigans as far as drains and so forth. High draw for Drew, which is nice. That's going to be Hondo, who is my token, by the way, for this. So that means that what chance do we have is still in effect here, which is a plus for Drew. Drew can pay for 2 drains here. Currently, well, I guess it would be 3 if he loses from hand. So what's our damage race look like here? 2, 3, 4, 5. Mike's doing 1, because what chance do we have? 2, 3, 4, flip 5. So same thing. The issue would be here that Mike's just going first. So it looks like Mike is going to, or he's got the upper hand here, of course. Drew's got a character. Or 2. Okay. We'll see how that holds up. If Mike's got some sort of EPP, I don't know what he would have left, though. That could be annoying. But trying to think of what I mean, Proxima could be somebody that can go down and block the drain. Trying to rack my head to see what he would have. He can't flip right now either based on gangsters. He doesn't have a second gangster on the table to flip and take control of recirculation here. So I guess he's only doing 4 now that I think about it. Or he could bump it up to 5 if he wants to pay for the lightsaber that's still there on Maul. And again, that's assuming he wants to pay for everything, and he'll be eating a drain here of 2. If eating a drain of 2 if nothing else happens here. There's Ant-Man that goes down, recirculates. Anything wacky comes down. You have to pay a force to fire, but I don't think there's a way it gets the recirculate in, so I don't think that there's any sort of battle that's going on here. What if he uses the lightsaber here? I think he's thinking about it. It's tough math in my head, so. To get him down to 5. Looks like he's going to do that. All right, and that means all the stuff is sticking around here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 here showing. I'm sorry, I guess I'm down to 4. So I think you would need an interrupt to kind of deal with all of the damage that is coming due to him. Let's see here. No, I think Drew has us by 1. Because he's doing 7. Yeah, he wouldn't even be able to drain. Well, no. He would be able to drain here one last time. For 2, ping for 3. I think he just gets them. So a good game between two good friends here. And it looks like this game will decide nothing. We'll basically be able to game 2 to kind of figure out who moves along. But I'm sure they'll have a nice chat about the game, bragging rights, and that sort of stuff. Watch Your Step was certainly an unexpected flip for Drew here. Played very well. And again, I think Drew gets him just here. Well, if there's something else that can be done here to kind of do a damage or get something back in his reserve deck to get additional force to pay for a drain. I would think it's a hit is available to Drew anyway, so I'm not sure there's much that can be done on Mike's end. It will be a win by 1, I think, by Drew here. And again, they're playing Game 2 tonight at 8:30. Stay tuned to our Twitch channel for all updates. I'll also be posting on the GIMP channel where we're watching. We got a lot of great streamers that have helped us out to take command and watch these games and bring some good coverage to you. Take care, Greg. Good luck today. Greg Shaw is playing has the next game actually against Paul Myers. They may play two, but Paul is a little notorious for being a slow player. So I would imagine if game one drags on a little bit, they might reschedule game two. So, but anyway, it should be. I'm excited for the rest of the OCS streaming schedule here. And here we go. Drew, I'm sure, is I want to say taunting. I'm not sure he's taunting, but I'm sure he's rubbing it in that he's getting a full win by one here. But I don't think Mike is too worried about that either. It's basically means that everything will be decided in game two here. Full win by one. Nice work for Watch Your Step here. Even with the early grabbers there, it seemed like something that they were able to overcome. And as I mentioned, the game plan of kind of stacking the site there, coming down to Shadow Collective not having any space to threaten anything up there, he was able to just stack everything together for everything together at the same site and just try his best to hold on for dear life there against Shadow Collective. So. All right, just one last time here. While I've got you guys, here's the streaming schedule for today. Kessling versus Drew, you just saw that. As I mentioned to Greg Shaw, he's got the next game at 11 a.m. Eastern. They might play game two right afterwards. Joe versus Steve Baroni, 3 p.m. today, game one. Matthew Harrison Trainer versus Taco Bill Kafer, 7 p.m. Eastern. That's game two. We'll see who advances there. And then Mike Kessling and Drew Lichtenstein, 8:30 p.m. Eastern tonight. Jared's going to call that one with some co-hosts as well. So we've got a full slate of scheduling for everyone. And for everybody to enjoy here. So thanks again for hopping in the chat and watching. Good luck to these guys as in their game two. Thanks for watching. It was wonderful seeing these good friends play each other. Really some masterful play there. And hope everybody enjoys the rest of our streaming schedule today. All the best.